Readers, this is Mrs. D coming to you from my home, and I wanted to share a video that I made for you to give you the opportunity to listen to the story Which Part Do We Eat from your My Book as you follow along for your first read. If you could take a minute to get your own My Book out, get it in front of you, because I'm going to have you follow along as I read the story to you. So I'm going to give you just a minute to open up to page 40, and we'll go ahead and get started. Awesome, so today we're going to read a poem called Which Part Do We Eat? And this poem, the author of the poem uses images, sounds, and rhythm to express her ideas and feelings. And so as you're reading, I want you to be looking for and paying close attention to the words that the author is using. Oftentimes, authors of poetry will repeat words or have words rhyme as you're listening or reading the story. I want you to pay attention to, as I'm reading the story out loud to you, the rhythm or the beat in which I read the poem to you. And then finally, I want you to pay attention to those words that are really fun to say. Oftentimes, poetry is very fun to read. It's also very fun to listen to. So as we are reading together today, I just want you to be paying attention to those characteristics of a poem. And then I also want to show your attention to the power words down here. So we're going to be looking at two different power words. We're going to be looking and reading the word sturdy together, and then we're also going to be reading the word cook together. So if we think about the power word sturdy, we think about something that is really difficult to move. So when I think of the word sturdy, I think about a table being sturdy or a chair being sturdy. We want to be able to sit in a sturdy chair, right, so we don't fall down. When I think about the word cook, hopefully you and your family are having lots of opportunities to cook something together. I know that my son and I have been cooking lots of delicious dinners and lunches together while we've been home. So the words that we're going to be looking for in our text together today are the words sturdy and the words cook. I'm going to go ahead and turn my book page. You can just kind of pay attention to the screen because we're going to get to know the author a little bit. So the author of the poem, Which Part Do We Eat? Is Catherine Ayers. And this is her, and we're going to be listening to an audio to find out more about our author. So sit back and just listen a little bit to maybe some things that you share in common with our author, maybe some differences that you have with her.
Catherine Ayers has always loved books and making up stories, but she has not always loved vegetables. When Ms. Ayers was a child, she wished vegetables could stay in the cans, or in the freezer, or in the garden so she would not have to look at them, smell them, or get in trouble for not eating them. Now, Miss Ayers loves vegetables. She loves them so much, she has written stories about them. Her favorite vegetable is tomatoes. Her least favorite is Brussels sprouts.
Excellent. So you might have been finding some connections to Catherine Ayers. Maybe you either enjoy or not enjoy vegetables. Maybe you really like tomatoes, as Catherine Ayers likes. I know that one of my favorite vegetables are Brussels sprouts, and so that was something that I had not in common with Catherine Ayers. As we read our story today, we're going to be staying on that theme of similarities and differences. And so our Read to Find Out question this week is, how are the vegetables in this poem, Which Part Do We Eat? The same and different. And so your job at the end of our reading today is you're going to be identifying two vegetables, and you're going to be able to use the text, the information that our author gives to us in the poem, Which Part Do We Eat? To share how are the two vegetables that you choose the same, and how are those two vegetables that you chose are different. And so be listening and be thinking about the similarities and differences among the vegetables that we're going to read about in our text today. Are you ready? Okay, so everyone should be turning to the first page in the text. Here is our title page, or our cover. It's called Which Part Do We Eat? And it's going to be written by Catherine Ayers. Get started. So before I get started reading out loud to you, I want you to be thinking about what your job is as I read the text out loud. So I'm going to be reading the text out loud, and while I read the text out loud, I want you to be taking your finger and I want you to be tracking along with me. So what that looks like is I should be thinking about what you would be looking like at home. Your finger should be tapping the words as I read the words out loud to you, and then we're going to be stopping, and I'm going to ask you a question about what it was that we just read. And if you have a grown-up or a brother or a sister or a grandparent sitting next to you, I would like for you to share your response with the person that's enjoying this video with you. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to ask you to have your fingers ready and get started. Here we go. Fingers ready? Ready, listen. Let's run to the garden and pick us a treat. But which part do we eat? Green beans, okras, and peppers are odd. We eat the pod. Let's stop for a second. I want you to be thinking about what is the author going to be describing to us in this text? What are we going to be learning about vegetables? Take a minute to be thinking about that. Share your response with the person sitting next to you. Excellent. So I hope you said something about that in this poem, we're probably going to be learning about vegetables, but more importantly, we're going to be learning about which part of those vegetables do we eat. And I can see that up here in this sentence where the author says, but which part do we eat? That's going to tell me that she's going to start to teach me about all the different parts of the vegetables that we would be eating. All right, let's read to find out what vegetables we're going to eat and what part of those vegetables do we eat. Fingers ready? Ready? Listen. Tomatoes and baby zucchini are cute. We eat the fruit. Asparagus, celery, what about them? We eat the stem. Ooh, asparagus and celery, some of my favorite vegetables. And I want you to think about those two vegetables. And based on what we see in the pictures and what we read in the words, how are asparagus and celery the same? Or how are they alike? I want you to use the pictures. I want you to use the words to find one similarity between asparagus and celery. Excellent. Okay, so I hope that some of you had shared with a grown-up that both asparagus and celery are green, right? You can see that by looking at the picture of asparagus and celery. They're both green, right? If you were looking at the words, as I reread the words, I noticed that the author told me that asparagus and celery, we eat the stem of both of those vegetables, right? And that could be another similarity between asparagus and celery. Let's turn our page. Okay, fingers ready on the word lettuce. Ready? Listen. Lettuce, spinach, and chard, I believe we eat the leaves. Carrots, turnips, and yams aren't fruit. We eat the root. Let's stop right there for a second because I read about a vegetable that I may not be very familiar with, and that's the vegetable chard. Can you take a pencil or a pen, and I want you to find the word chard and circle it. Yeah, you should have circled this word right here, right? Chard. Now, looking at the pictures of these three vegetables, I want you to draw a circle around the picture of chard. And then be thinking about how chard is different than lettuce and spinach. All right, so I should have seen a circle around the vegetable chard right here. And I could see that chard is different from spinach and lettuce because chard has these roots or these stems that have red and orange and purple in them, right? So they have different colors other than just different shades of green, right? They may come in different colors than lettuce and spinach. Excellent, here we go, ready? Carrots and turnips and yams aren't fruit. We eat the root. Peas, corn, and lima beans aren't weeds. We eat the seeds. Broccoli's filled with vitamin power. We eat the flower. Turn the page. Stem, leaf, pod, fruit, flower, seed, or sturdy root. Chop them and cook them and serve them on dishes. Fresh, crispy veggies are mighty delicious. I want you to think about the author's opinion about what is the same about all the vegetables that we read about in our poems. What do they all have in common? I'd like for you to take your pencil and I would like for you to underline the sentence that tells you how all of the vegetables that we read about in these poems are the same. Okay, so I read that our author feels like these veggies are delicious. And I see that through this sentence right here that says, fresh, crispy vegetables or veggies are mighty delicious. That tells me that she believes that the vegetables that she wrote about in our poem are all pretty good to eat. I hope you have found some vegetables that you enjoy eating throughout our poem. And what I want you to do now is I want you to find your packet, and on the back of your Monday sheet, you're going to find a T-chart that you're going to have the opportunity to compare and contrast two vegetables from our text today. Right? Enjoy working on this with your family, and we will talk to you soon. Bye!